Hi guys, so today I'm gonna go over some particular updated news, mainly involving some of the updated Trump actions that have been happening in late April 2025. It's a lot of things. It's hard to keep up with Trump administration always doing something new every day. So first thing first is straight from the Jacob Ben's website, how Donald Trump is weakening U.S. influence in Latin America. Not really a surprising thing, considering that Donald Trump has been going really hardcore in terms of trying to deport Hispanics and Brazilians heavily. And we know a lot of Hispanics and Brazilians have Latin American background, myself included. I'm Brazilian. I was born in Brazil. I'm South American and Latino. And I know a lot of Brazilians who are really afraid right now. I know many Hispanics. My wife is Dominican. And I talk to many other different Hispanic communities as well. And a lot of them are also worried. Many Filipinos are also worried because a lot of them are basically Latinos in a way too. Many Haitians are also worried because a lot of black people are also being targeted. Just like us Brazilian Hispanics, if you have a particular accent that you don't sound American enough, that's an additional way for them to target you, not just by your race alone. Race is a big one, and ethnicity, but definitely your accent will really be a prime target. Unfortunately, I laugh not in a way because I think it's funny, just because it's so insanely crazy. It's just so crazy to think that now US is so dangerous that they literally racially profile you as you walk around, just living your life, to the point that many people are boycotting going to the US for vacation because of all these decisions. Again, Trump administration joke about potentially deporting people trying to visit the US during the World Cup. Why have the World Cup in the US then? Have in Canada. They won't have to worry about being deported. We already know there being Europeans who came here who were hiking and they were legally here and able to travel from border to border. I know in Canada may have issues, whatever case may be, but even Europeans, white Europeans specifically, came here have been deported. What's going on? That doesn't make sense. You're going after people who are not criminals. Instead of focusing on the actual criminals like white supremacist groups, we are focusing on documented immigrants and even legal immigrants. And at times, unfortunately, US citizens too, especially children. And that's not really the way to do it without due process. Most people probably would not have such a big issue if Trump administration just followed due process correctly. Prove that they're undocumented, prove they did something illegal on top of it. Like do something correctly, provide due process. Trump has so much of it, and that's why he got away with everything. But once it's not him, he doesn't care anymore. He thinks he doesn't have to, or he claims he doesn't know if he should follow the Constitution when he knows. It's all bullshit. It's a very fascist technique to use. Is just act like you don't know something, you don't understand, or you might not be sure. So you act like you never fully certain if you can or should do certain things according to the law, because that's the fascist way of doing things. You act like you don't know when you do. You listen to other fascists, but you don't listen to your constituents, the people who voted for you, or you ignore what those people actually want. A lot of these people vote for Trump to do a lot of these things. Now they're being impacted. Now they're crying about it, but the damage has been done. It's an unfortunate scenario. So I'm gonna scroll down so you guys can read a little bit more. I know I was rambling on, but it's good to just really try to explain to you guys that a lot of people have been talking about Trump administration, in particular, anyone with Latin background are prime targets. And again, as an immigrant myself, Brazilian, South American, etc., I've spoken to lots and lots of people who are really afraid and dealing with a lot of this stuff. And some people have dealt with family members and friends being deported. It's a real issue right now. Even when there's no warrant involved, warrant. So there's no warrant involved, no documentation be able to prove that they should be allowed to deport these people. There's no due process of any kind. No warrant should be no arrest, no detaining anyone. But they're completely superseding that because Trump is not following the law and U.S. Supreme Court is not doing anything. Many federal judges are doing nothing. Congress is doing nothing. We know there's mainly Republicans who control Congress because they don't have the majority in the Senate and the House. But it would be nice to at least have the U.S. Supreme Court do something. They could easily end this. At least try. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be perfect, saying the U.S. Marshals or whatever, because maybe of the military. to stop Trump and his entire administration, but at least try something to demonstrate to the world that hey, we're not gonna be allowing this guy, aka Donald Trump, get away with impeachable acts. Do something. So I'm gonna keep scrolling down so you guys can basically read. There's a lot of issues. He's going after many Latinos, Latinas, like on a daily basis. And the whole tariff situation is also making things complicated in terms of trade deals. So a lot of countries are feeling reluctant to work with Trump and make a deal. It's a really big problem, considering that U.S. also works heavily with Brazil. Brazil is one of the biggest importers to the U.S., especially when it comes to things like meat. We import a lot of meat from Brazil. So we have to be very careful with these tariffs because it's not just simple to just implement tariff and now you're making money. That's not how it works. The consumers are going to pay a lot more. And these countries are not just going to be bending over and be happy go lucky with the tariffs. It's a big issue. Three issues have galvanized the pushback against Trump in Latin America: tariffs, obviously, deportation, this is a big one as well, and Washington's policy of exclusion. US is really becoming very isolated, and that's not a good thing. Being an isolated nation is actually really a negative thing to do, especially for your people of your country. It's not a good thing. It also reduces a lot of any talks about trade deals, and we have to work together when emergency happens, like a crisis, like the pandemic with COVID-19. You want to be able to work with other countries, in a diplomatic way, and not in a way that makes them feel like we should not work with the U.S. They keep changing their mind every day, and they don't really care about working together as a team. They only care about themselves. You don't want that. We live in a globalized planet. We shouldn't be isolating from other countries because of races, misogyny, sexist, and misogyny way of thinking. Uh, it's a problem. Just because someone might have a female or president, a woman as a president, that doesn't mean you should not work with that country. Or because it has someone who's not white as a president or in power, you should not work with that country. A lot of these racists don't understand that. I'm just scroll up back it. So yeah, Venezuela has been dealing with a lot of deportation. There's been a lot of them being deported from the U.S. as well. So it's a big problem. This has been something going on for a while. This is not anything new. This is also from April 26, 2025. It's an issue that has been going on, unfortunately. Next article is from April 26, 2025. Judge blocks Trump administration from nixing union bargaining rights, basically from removing or getting rid of bargaining rights. I don't know how well this really will go. This is temporarily blocked on the efforts of reducing collective bargaining rights for federal workers. Technically, through executive orders should not be allowed. There should be more something from Congress. It's a big problem. So this is a good thing for National Treasury Employees Union, which represent 160,000 federal workers, but it's a minor win because technically it's not guaranteed to stay. And we will see because it might go all the way to the US Supreme Court, who might disagree with Trump, which they probably will. They don't care about federal workers. This is from April 2025 from The Guardian. Trump's Justice Department appointees remove leadership of voting unit. Session is responsible for enforcing laws designed to prevent voter discrimination, raise alarm about voting rights enforcement. So by removing people who basically assist with making sure that an election is done correctly and fairly, and there are no issues of voter suppression, you need to stop at people. So getting rid of these people who literally make sure that there's a fair election is exactly the game plan of Republicans. And that's why Trump is doing it. This is all part of Project 2025. We talk a lot about these things that Trump is doing. He at least achieved, well, I think over 6% of Project 2025 goals via executive order, but it's still achieved because the damage he has done could take decades, if not over a century, to fix if it's even fixable. Especially the relationship with other countries with the whole tariffs, and even after removing tariffs, I can guarantee the prices are going to stay that high, and it will go up again. Companies are not going to lower the price, especially if everyone is okay with paying double, triple for 12 eggs or double, triple for fruits, meats of all types. They're okay with paying more to use, to go to another country for vacation, like plane tickets. They're okay paying more for electronics and so on. It's a big issue. It's sad. So I scroll down. They talk more in detail, some perspective of people this impacts, and a lot of this excuse. I can guarantee you're gonna use DI as a diversity and inclusion as an excuse to do all these things, which never makes sense. Now, next article is from the Manhattan Times. This is more of a happy thing, not a sad thing or bittersweet. It's a good thing. Harvard tuition is now free for families under 200K a year, so $200K a year. Includes house and books for those below 100K a year, which is nice. This is something I agree with. This is from April 27, 2025. It's a very good thing. So starting in fall 2025, Harvard College will offer completely free education, including housing, for students whose families on $100K or less a year. And if you 200K, if you have a family that overall your household earns 200K a year, uh, they'll at least have tuition free. This is basically like tuition free reimbursement programs, like that tuition reimbursement programs that some employers have, like mine does, which is really great. With this update, around 86% of U.S. families will qualify for financial assistance at Harvard College, reaffirmed the nearly 400-year-old institution's long-standing promise to provide access to all deserving students. That's extremely fair. I have no issue with that. That's basically the whole article that talks about that. That's a really good thing. This is not a bad thing. Overall, that's basically all the news for today. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think of everything I spoke. If you agree with Donald Trump situation on how he's doing, conducting his deportation of Latinos, Latinas, and the whole implementation of tariffs that's impacting multiple nations. If you agree with the judge blocking Trump's ability to get rid of collective bargaining for federal workers of a specific union, and the whole situation with Harvard providing free tuition for certain household income. Let me know in the comment sections. I really like to know your thoughts. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Watch this on TikTok, follow us on TikTok, and I hope everyone has a great day.